Hey everybody, welcome to CCSN Gameday Live with Reagan Kanabi. I'm William McDavid. We are live inside Empower Field at Mile High, getting ready for the CHSAA Class 5A State Championship between number 2 Valor Christian and number 1 Cherry Creek. Reagan, I want to start by wishing you a happy championship Saturday. Today is going to be a very exciting day.
And to you too, Will. It's really great to be out here in this amazing stadium and see all the fans out here ready to watch some football.
And with that, Reagan, we're going to dive right into our championship preview. We begin with the head-to-head matchup between Cherry Creek and Valor Christian, two high-powered teams who have seen each other multiple times in the state championship in the past 5 years.
Valor rolled over their first two opponents in this year's playoffs, taking down Legend 42-14 and Regis 45-28. They met Ralston Valley in the semifinals, a game that ended in double overtime, ultimately a heartbreaking loss for the Ralston Valley Mustangs. We'll take a quick look at the breakdown of the game. Valor's Roman Bradley put up the first score of the game on a rushing touchdown with about 4 minutes left to go in the first quarter, and a second score with 11 minutes left to go in the half. Ralston Valley responded with a score of their own on the 1-yard pass with less than a minute left in the half, and then opened the second half with a 62-yard touchdown pass, tying up the game early in the third quarter. Valor's Roman Bradley struck again on a rushing touchdown, bringing the score to 21-14 before Ralston Valley completed another pass to tie the game once again. 2 minutes later, Ralston Valley put another touchdown on the board, going up on Valor with 4 minutes left in the game. Valor was able to rectify the situation, scoring again to tie the game at 28 going into overtime. The first overtime ended tied at 35, bringing the game to a second overtime, which Valor won after a missed PAT from Ralston Valley.
And for Cherry Creek, after their first round bye, they had Fountain Fort Carson, Thunder Ridge, and Pine Creek.
Cherry Creek put up over 40 points in each of their playoff games, showing off their high-powered run game, aided by the star-studded offensive line. One thing we saw from Cherry Creek this postseason was targeting senior wide receiver Ish CC significantly more, which paid off in big ways as CC scored 5 touchdowns in the playoffs.
And it's time to meet the players battling for today's championships, and we'll begin with the quarterback matchup. We take a look at today's quarterbacks: junior Asher Wiener for Valor and freshman Brady Vidika for Creek. Wiener and Vidika have both had impressive seasons, especially given it is their first years leading their respective teams. Wiener has thrown for 1,025 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Vidika has thrown for 1,091 yards, 13 touchdowns, and an impressive 1 interception. Vidika fought a season-long quarterback battle against multiple other Creek quarterbacks and came out on top to lead the team through the playoffs.
And all three guys have had good play this year, for sure. So Brady has been a guy that has given us an ability to run the quarterback a little bit because he's bigger. He's bigger than the other two. But all three of those guys have played, honestly, have played really key roles in the success we've been able to have this year.
Both Vidika and Wiener are going to battle it out today in hopes of capping off their debut season with a state championship win. We take a look at the run game now. It's Cherry Creek's Bubba Tan and Jordan Huron, and Valor's Gabe Sawchuk.
Well, that last name Sawchuk definitely sounds familiar. Gabe is the younger brother of Gavin Sawchuk, who graduated from Valor last year and currently plays running back for the University of Oklahoma Sooners. Gabe Sawchuk has 7 touchdowns and 110 carries for 736 yards and 56.6 yards per game. Now, Cherry Creek has 2 major weapons this year in senior Bubba Tan and junior Jordan Heron. Tan has just over 1,220 yards on the season with 13 touchdowns. He averages an insanely impressive 111 yards per game, which averages out to about 8.7 yards per carry, almost a first down every time he gets the ball. Now, Heron has 6 100-plus yard games with 13 touchdowns, and he's a strong running back that Coach Logan can put in to give Tan a breather and really keep his running backs fresh throughout the game.
And finally, we look at the last offensive skill positions. It's Jake Kreckler and Ish Cece.
For Valor, we have Kreckler, who has 29 receptions for 397 yards and 5 touchdowns. Creek's Ish Cece has 46 receptions for 886 yards and 13 touchdowns. Now, 5 of Cece's touchdowns came from the postseason, as well as many impressive catches, his longest for 85 yards. He had an extremely impressive grab against Thunder Ridge when senior quarterback Brian Rudden entered the game mid-drive after starting quarterback Brady Vidika had to exit for a play and threw a 74-yard bomb that CC hauled in double coverage for the touchdown.
CC is certainly a huge part of this team, Reagan, and he is going to be dialed in today, and someone that the Valor defense will need to keep an eye on. Speaking of the defense, we're going to take a quick look at the defense that has been the true showstoppers in Creek's 3 consecutive state championship wins.
The Creek defense has been very successful this year, keeping opponents to no more than 3 touchdowns per game, allowing the offense to score multiple 42-point games and even 62 points against Arvada West. Something that the defense has done well this year is creating turnovers. The defense has 18 interceptions for 345 yards, 12 caused fumbles, and an impressive 46 sacks. When it comes to stopping the run game, it's the same story this year as it was last year. The Cherry Creek defense needs to be completely locked in today, and they need to execute and make plays to win this game.
Valor has a new head coach this year in Brett McGatlin, who coached at Chatfield for 16 years and led them to a state championship win in 4A last year.
Now, we do have a little bit of a friendly rivalry here today between Coach Logan and Coach McGatlin. We're going to take a quick look at the two coaches during the Media Day press conference on Tuesday.
How cool is it to be able to coach against each other now, looking back after what happened last season?
Well, what I think is what's kind of crazy about this, I was part of Coach Logan's first ever win, I believe. I think in 1993, A-West played at Old Reed Street Stadium, I believe. And so, I've known Coach for a while. We're both Jeffco grads. I think that's also been cool. And then I know, he won the state championship at Chatfield 2002, correct? 2001, that's right. And then be able to follow that, last year, because I remember that team. I was actually coaching at Columbine against him in 2001 as an assistant coach. So, it's been kind of cool to follow this. And obviously, we know Coach Logan is a legendary coach in our state, especially in a big school, and the best coaches of all time. So, it's an honor to coach against him because I looked up to him. He's been a good friend of our family, my dad for sure. So it's going to be awesome to see him across the sideline.
It was great for me to see Brett and Chatfield last year. Had a chance to go up and congratulate he and Don, his dad, was there as well. And, if you coach at a school, you always have a certain feeling about that. But the first game that Brett was talking about in 1993, I was scared out of my mind because his dad, he's a humble guy, but his dad is an iconic coach in high school. And to go against Don McGatlin in your first game when you really don't know what you're doing was pretty overwhelming for me. But I've always respected him. I know he does things the right way. I know he loves kids, and I know he's a good football coach. So with respect to that, I would say exactly the same thing that Brett said. It's going to be an honor to coach against him.
Reagan, we definitely have two decorated head coaches here today. A year ago, Cherry Creek and Valor Christian met in the state championship right here at Mile High, and today they do it again for the third year in a row and the fourth time ever. Cherry Creek leads the championship history between these two teams with their wins in 2014, 2020, and 2021, with Valor getting a victory in the 2018 state championship. The Bruins are going for their 13th all-time state championship and their fourth in a row, while the Eagles are looking for their 9th state championship, their 7th in Class 5A.
Another huge stat for this game is that Creek has the potential to four-peat for the first time in school and state history. Creek three-peated from 1994 to 1996, and Coach Logan also has a three-peat under his belt from his time as head coach at Mullen, as well as his previous 3 years right here at Cherry Creek. This is incredibly unique and not something you see really ever. Coach Logan is looking for his 11th state title as a coach and his 5th at Creek, which is certainly an incredible legacy to leave behind.
Reagan, it's going to be a great afternoon as number 1 Cherry Creek takes on the number 2 Valor Christian Eagles for the third year in a row. We'll be keeping all of you at home updated throughout the game on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you're following at Cherry Creek SN for all of our game updates from the sideline here at Mile High. Thanks for joining us right here on CCSN.